In the early years, NTTA operated a single toll road, but the leaders at the time had the foresight to recognize that development was essential. Particularly transportation infrastructure would help be a catalyst to this growth. Local leaders and elected officials chose to borrow and build to finance roads here in North Texas. This was in lieu of assessing more taxes on taxpayers. In doing so, NTTA has borrowed over $9 billion to build a network of toll roads here in North Texas to connect people to different economic centers throughout the region.
In 2011, NTTA created the Special Project System in order to advance critical projects, road projects in the region. NTTA's existing system was not able to leverage that system, so we had to create a separate system in order to ensure that we could get those projects completed. When doing this, that created duplication. It created the need for 2 budgets, 2 audits, extra consultants, additional traffic engineers. We had a lot of duplication going on with that. And so in addition to that, the Special Project System had its own bond financing. It also had a loan guarantee with TxDOT, as well as a loan with the TIFIA program from the federal government.
In 2013, with a sizable debt profile of $9 billion and a very low interest rate environment, it was advised to us to refinance the entire $9 billion all at one time. As staff began evaluating our approach to refinance, we had a number of conversations with our board of directors, and they were instrumental in advising staff and directing staff to achieve the best results for the organization.
So the 2017 transaction was a $2.5 billion transaction. It was the 3rd largest municipal transaction in that year, only behind the states of California and Illinois. Of the consolidation of the systems and the future debt service savings, we were also able to eliminate the TxDOT loan program as well as the TIFIA loan program. The financing essentially enabled both TxDOT and the federal government to redeploy those loan proceeds for other critical projects in the state as well as nationally.
There's an assumption that rates would go up. That assumption has been prevalent for quite some time, but we decided to take a long-term view of this. We decided to strategically evaluate our debt profile each year and refinance those candidates of bonds that made the most sense. In doing so, we've actually achieved more savings than we would have had we refinanced everything in 2013.
We were also facing a significant amount of debt coming up in the future. I'd characterize it as the Matterhorn of debt, and so we were able to really flatten that out. And also, NTTA received upgrades from both Moody's and Standard & Poor's. So in the refinancing, we introduced a significant amount of bond call optionality. And what that does is it really gives NTTA a lot of flexibility going into the future about how we manage our debt obligations. We received a lot of positive feedback from the stakeholders regarding NTTA's financial transparency and the amount of information that we show and make available on our website.
Commercial and residential development is heavily dependent on infrastructure, specifically transportation infrastructure. The network of roads that we built in North Texas have created access to a lot of economic centers throughout the region. Property values east and west, north and south of our toll roads have gone up significantly over the past 15 to 20 years. NTTA's network of roads have been an economic engine for the DFW region. The total magnitude of economic activity in NTTA's influence area accounts for 40% of the region's gross regional product. Commercial and residential development is heavily dependent on stable, reliable transportation infrastructure. We've seen a number of Fortune 500 relocations right along our corridor over the past 15 years. DFW is now one of the fastest growing regions in the country, in large part because of the great infrastructure that exists here in North Texas.
On behalf of the NTTA Board of Directors and our 800 dedicated employees, I'd like to thank the IBTTA for this Toll Excellence Award. Receiving this award reflects the hard work and high caliber of employees at NTTA who are committed to delivering measurable results. Like our conversion to AET in 2007, these financial transactions have been transformative. Our fiscal health is much improved, and we are positioned to weather the effects of the pandemic and prepare to meet the transportation needs of North Texas. Many thanks again for the recognition. It is very meaningful to our organization.